Ready? Over here. Freaking phone. I don't need this going off. This would be bad news.
Okay, but at least with the emergency response.
Oh. On silent. Good afternoon and welcome to the Committee of Adjustment hearings for the Urban Panel, Panel 1. We are a City of Ottawa quasi-judicial tribunal that holds public hearings to be consider Planning Act applications, including minor variances to the zoning requirements and consents to sever land. Our hearings are now in person at Ben Franklin Place. We also enable remote participation by video conferencing for our registered speakers. We are live streaming on YouTube and the video will be archived and available for future viewing by the public. My name is John Blatherwick and I'll be chairing today's hearing. With me today at the panel is Mr. Arto Kirklickian, Ms. Sharon Lecquier over here, and Ms. Tremblay is online. Listed on the agenda and appearing on screen from time to time are the applications we'll hear today. For the sake of efficiency, we may deal with the agenda items in a different order. For your information, please understand that panel members have reviewed the planning reports and any written submissions in support or in opposition to each of the applications. Today, we will hear any oral submissions relating to the applications. As part of the statutory public notification requirements, each applicant is required to post a sign on the property in question before the hearing. They also had to confirm in writing that they did so, and I believe we have confirmation from all 4 applicants.
Yes, Mr. Chair, we do.
Okay. The panel may ask for a brief presentation of an application, followed by questions for the applicant and/or the applicant's agent and city planning staff. We will then hear from members of the public who have registered to speak, and we may also have questions for them. Finally, the applicant who has the burden of proof will have an opportunity to make final comments in reply. Please address your comments to the chair, starting with your name and spelling it if necessary, and your municipal address for the record. At the conclusion of the hearing, the panel may either make an oral decision or we may reserve our decision, which means it will not be delivered today. In either case, and within 10 days of the hearing, the Committee of Adjustment will send an official written notice of decision and reasons for it to all the parties, participants, and anyone else who has requested a copy. Anyone in the room have any questions regarding the procedure today we will be following? Okay. We have several applications to hear today, but first we need to deal with some preliminary and procedural matters. First of all, for the members of the panel, are there any conflicts of interest regarding the items on this agenda today or this week on panels 2 and 3? No? Okay, seeing none. We also have, before we begin, minutes to approve. And the minutes that are up for approval are our hearing minutes from March 5th and 19th, April 2nd and 16th. Is there any need to amend any of those minutes from the 5th of March, the 19th of March, the 2nd and or the 16th of April? Everyone's in concurrence with the minutes. All right, the minutes are adopted. We don't have any adjournment requests today. So what we'll do is turn to the applications. We have no unopposed applications. So there'll be some questions regarding each of them and presentations required. Okay. So we'll go to item 1 on the agenda. This is 214 Cowley Avenue. And this is an application to permit a reduced side yard, increased eave projection and front-facing garage for the conversion of a carport to a garage and the construction of a 2nd-story addition above. I believe it's Mr. Mulholland who is the applicant's agent.
That's correct. So Christopher Mulholland Amstead Design Build.
And the address for the record?
7725 Fluellen.
Okay. And very briefly, could you explain what you're applying, what your applicant is applying for?
Yeah, so it's fairly straightforward project. There's an existing carport with nothing above it. We're going to enclose the carport to create an actual garage. The footprint expands slightly forward, still maintaining the required setback from the front of the house to the front of the garage. And we're adding a second floor space above the garage. The variances, the two critical ones are related to the side yard setback. The existing carport is closer than allowed to the side yard, so we're varying that setback, and related to that, we also were required to vary the overhang from that wall. The third variance is more to clean up the existing conditions. So the SCA, when we went through it, the neighborhood doesn't allow for an attached garage or carport. Obviously, that's an existing condition. So for clarity, we opted to request that variance as well to legalize that that current condition.
Okay. So that variance A regarding the interior side yard is an existing condition.
Correct.
And because of the design of your of the extension, you're going to be closer with the drainage off the roof.
Correct. Yeah, the overhang will come out similar to what the existing overhang does as well. So
we note that there are no concerns from the planning department regarding the application. All right. Thank you. We also have on the speakers list Miss Pearl from the Champlain Park Community Association. Is she there?
Yeah,
Miss Pearl,
sorry, hello, sorry.
welcome.
Heather Pearl, Champlain Park Community Association. I live at 251 Keyworth Avenue, and I deal with applications for redevelopment in Champlain Park. And I'm well aware of the area, having actually been presented in support of the application for 210 212, the semi next door. So I'm aware of the way the lay of the land in the area, and I'm aware of the property. And what I can say is I don't believe that there will be any issues with stormwater. The roof is a high peaked roof. It's basically water runs to the front yard, to the backyard. It doesn't run basically into the side yard. There is a full 4-foot distance between the property line and the semi-detached next door. And this is an interesting area because the houses in this particular spot, the 3 or 4 houses, are it's almost like they're perched. The back part of it is perched on a bit of a cliff because there's about an 8-foot drop between a teeny little backyard and the rest of the backyard. So essentially, there's no issue with managing water as far as I can see. The new addition will be primarily, again, front to back peaked roof, very high peaked roof, and the small dormer on the back again will basically flow down into the back. And there's a very big distance between the backyard, of the house, which is, again, as I said, quite a low level compared to where the house is sitting, and the drainage continues down through the property on Keyworth Avenue. Behind it has a huge depth of rear yard. So I don't see any issues. And they've also spoken with the people next door and they have no problem, so.
Yeah, I note that we note that there's no objections and you sent in a letter in support of the application.
Yeah,
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Pearl. You're aware, Mr. Mulholland, of the standard committee of adjustment of condition?
We are.
Okay. Very good. Okay, all right. Any questions from the members of the panel on this? You prepared to vote? Okay. All right, in regards to 214 Cowley Avenue, all in favor of the application? Oh, pardon me. Is there anyone online or in the hall who wishes to speak to this application? All right, seeing none. Sorry about that. All in favor of the application as presented? Okay. Your application is granted unanimously. Good luck with your project.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Now to move to item 2 on the agenda, 196 Clare Street. This is an application to subdivide the property into 2 parcels for the construction of a semi-detached dwelling with front-facing attached garages, a reduced corner side yard setback, and increased building height. And this application was adjourned a short while ago for an additional variance that regarding the front-facing garage. Mr. Sun is the agent's, the applicant's agent, Mr. Sun?
Yeah, my name is Chang Sun, an architect. So I'm living in 33 Willowgun Drive, Canada.
Okay.
And I have the property owner with me today. He's sitting at the front.
All right. So this was recirculated for the additional variance, and now you're back before us again. I think we need a presentation on this, please.
Sure. This property at 196 Clare Street in Westboro. And we apply the consent to severance and the minor variance application. Next slide, please. So our proposal is the severance, the 196 Clare Street to 2 new parcels to build semi-detached on each new lot with additional dwelling unit at the basement. So as a result, we have the total 4 unit from this site. And we applied 3 minor variants for the corner lot, increase the maximum building height from 8 meter to 10 meter, and reduce minimum corner yard setback from 4.29 to the 2.68, and also permit the front facing garage. And for the inner lot, we applied 2 minor variants, increase building height and permit the garage. Next slide, please. And this property is at inner urban transit. So in this, in the official plan, this allows the intensify middle and high density and allow 3-story. Some cases allow 4-story. Next slide, please. And also this property is located in the overlay involving neighborhood. And this policy also promote intensify in this overlay and provide different dwelling unit option, including some option not in the market yet. Next slide, please. And official policy, housing policy also further promote use urban land redevelopment, increase intensification, and provide some missing middle housing option. Next slide, please. And this site is quite unique. It's in Westboro and close to Cowley Avenue and the 470 highway, and also close to the Ottawa River, and the walking distance to retail, commercial, downtown office. Next slide, please. And this is another bird view to the Ottawa River. It's showing how close it to the park and the river and the bike trail. Next slide, please. This is the existing condition. So we can see there's one single housing and additional dwelling unit. And there's no any landscape area at all. So it's 0, so it's a hard paving. It's zone under the R3R. Parking is not required, but it's permitted. Next slide, please. We apply the constant sever the lot to the 2 new lot. And this is the survey showing they are actually in sub-plan division. There's a 2 lot already. It's the lot 19, lot 20. So we just adjust the 7th line, division line, to make the 2 new lot to meet the current building code. So this 2 lot already exists. Next slide, please. So this is the metric or the table to compare, because we know in 6 months or 8 months, new zoning bylaw will be adopted. So this is to show we are applying 3 minor variants, but in 6 months, for the height, this property will be increased to 11 meters. So we apply 10 meters. Even under the N4B, 14.5 meters are permitted. And
just a comment, we are dealing with the current zoning bylaw. The future zoning bylaw has not been adopted. It has absolutely no impact on this committee and its decisions.
Correct.
So if you want to continue to make comments about the new zoning bylaw,
Correct.
you're basically wasting your time.
No problem.
We'll talk to you after the end of the year when it's been adopted.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you.
Yeah. So this forecast regarding the increased corner yard setback. So on the left, next slide, please. Okay. On the right is new site plan. So we are increasing current side yard corner side yard setback is 0.72 meter, and with this minor variance, we increase side yard setback to the 2.68 meter, and we bring the landscape to the property at the front yard and side yard and the rear yard. Okay. And next slide, please. The reason we asking this the minor variance because few reasons, and this corner side yard back cannot further increase because this development will be the semi-detached, and the semi-detached have be the thematical. If we increase corner yard setback, the floor plan won't be able to accommodate a garage and entrance. This is the one reason. Next slide, please. Sorry, one point I forgot to mention. Can you go back one previous slide? Another reason we cannot increase side yard, corner side yard setback because on the right, inner lot, the lot area just above the minimum requirement of under current zoning bylaw. Current zoning bylaw asking 180 square meter, And on the right, we have the 181. So if we reduce corner lot setback, then we won't be able to meet the current zoning bylaw regarding the minimum lot area. Next slide, please. So this is showing the even on and current condition in the neighborhood along the Clare Street. There's a property just close to the 196. Their yard setback is much more than we provided. So there's a 1.4 meter yard setback, and there's a 0.7 yard setback. Next slide, please. And this is the increased building height from 8 meter to 10 meters. The reason we asking increased building height, because we owner and we like to provide additional room, bedroom and family room to fit the need of the household. And we see there's more young generation wants to live under the same roof. So give the additional room on several different floors will be give the privacy of accommodate their need. And also we provide roof terrace for the additional amenity space. And my third point, because I refer to the new zoning bylaw, I won't be mentioned now. So next slide, please. And this is four example of the existing building in the same building block. So 3-story building already there, and have the address at the bottom. Next slide, please. So this is talking about a little bit the information about the roof terrace. So on the right, this is the building, this is the house, it's the semi-detached. 3-story with roof terrace, just 1 block away from this property. And on the left, there's some other example. One is in this neighborhood, but other two in the city, but comparable because they are under R3. Next slide, please. Now back to the minor rent for the front yard parking. So because it's a corner lot, we did 2 analysis, 1 blue line and 1 circle red line. Although this neighborhood, like front parking, is not dominant character, but on the bottom photo in the same block, we see many front yard parking. Some illegal, maybe some illegal. So this lot, building zoning bylaw permit parking, and the owner wants the parking, because the lot, the plan I show, is no space for the rear yard parking and side yard parking. So the front yard parking, front garage is the best solution for this property. And also will eliminate front yard parking. Next slide, please. We respect city common planner. So we, in order to have a front yard garage, we revise our floor plan, make entrance, product the garage 2 feet. So we revise our floor plan, and we are lower building and even basement, because this action, we delete 1 bedroom. So originally from 2 bedroom, now revise 1 bedroom. So we take our due diligence, revise our plan in order to have this front garage. Next slide, please. So conclusion, in my professional opinion, so our application, consent severance, and the minor rights at this property is in public interest. I do show the last 3 slides. So this is the tree report. And we do have the 1 existing, sorry, yeah, thank you. We do have the one existing tree, but in poor condition. And on the right, showing 3 new trees will be planted. And next slide, please. And this is the corner lot. So we do respect the triangle, which show the yellow square. And also in future, there's the convenience to the city for the infrastructure upgrade. So we already also our design respect that 3 meter time 9 meter triangle. Next slide, please. Yeah, next slide, please. Yeah, last just the letter from the city regarding the SCA. Okay, that's my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Could we go back to your diagram that shows the site triangle?
Maybe last. Correct. Yeah.
Okay. So that you're going to be constructing within the limits of that site triangle, correct?
Zoning saying nothing can above 0.75. So my stair step is less than 0.75.
Okay. Just to the planning department, the department's satisfied that the conditions of a corner site triangle are being met with this application?
Thank you, Mr. Blatherwick. So what the applicant is saying is correct. You can build as long as it is not over 0.75 meters.
All right, I just want to make sure you're okay because we don't want to have problems down the road. Okay, thank you. Any questions from the panel regarding this application? Oh, Ms. O'Connell, you had a comment.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just to piggyback on your question that you'd asked, Ms. Horn, there's 2 separate requirements, and the applicant very clearly showed. One of them is a zoning bylaw requirement, where he showed the 6x6 requirement, and that's in order to not block sight lines, where it says nothing above 0.7 meters. That's a separate requirement from the conveyance that's required, which she was talking about. The 3 by 9 meters is what the city is asking for conveyance onto the right of way. So 2 separate things.
Okay. And this application meets those requirements?
That's correct.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Connell. All right, thank you, sir. Any questions from the members of the panel regarding this application? I have one. Why can't you meet the bylaw height requirement? This is a new build. Why can't you meet it?
Yeah. Because 10 meter won't allow the owner have the additional roof terrace. That's one consideration. And also, I know you mentioned the new zoning bylaw will be next year, but as the architect, I also consider all of my doing will be give the owner some opportunity for the future. So this is combined, and also I looking at the existing condition. I don't see if some similar development semi-detached, as I show in the photo, have 3-story and a terrace. Why cannot this property owner have this opportunity, especially under new zoning bylaw will allow 11 meter, 14.5. We are not talking about 1 year, we're talking about a few months. So as a designer, architect, my professional tell me I have to think about this factor. That's the reason.
The examples you gave us, do you happen to know whether there were variances granted for an increase in height on those other examples that you gave us of the 3-story units? Or are they within a zone where an 11-meter height is allowed?
Yes, they are exactly same block. They are under the R3R, exactly same and subzoning.
But you're not aware of whether or not variances were requested.
Yeah, if you see the photo, I have the address, just the same block, you see the bottom, they are same block. Also, the West Haven Crescent, just on the back of the West Haven Crescent is a circle.
Okay.
So just another end of the circle. And on the right, it just is on the Clare Street, maybe 20-minute walk.
Right. Okay. Thank you. Do we have any speakers? Yeah.
Through you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, just Bill, if you could go put the pictures back up. Thank you. Do you know what year those were built? So I know the chair asked you whether you were aware of whether these had minor variances. Sorry, a little echoey. Of whether if these were built under the current zoning bylaw or perhaps they were built prior?
On the left, the bottom, I couldn't tell. I
Yeah.
didn't dig into it, but on the right, sorry, I can tell this is a new development. Got to be under the new zoning bylaw, but on the bottom right, it's a historical building, maybe like 50 year. I didn't look into it.
No, that's okay. I just, if
Yeah.
you were aware of what years they were built. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
We have one speaker on our list. Mr. Lammy, is he there? Just
Yes, I am, Mr. Chair.
okay. For the record, your address, Mr. Lammy.
It's 161 West Haven Crescent in Ottawa.
Okay. Please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, members of the committee. I would like to express some concerns about some of the variances that are being applied for here. As it seems to me that there is some concerns about the intents of the current zoning bylaws, also about the setbacks and other issues. I'll start with the proposed building height, which doesn't appear to me to be consistent with the zoning bylaw and the policy intent of the official plan. Based on the fact that the request for increased building height, and you, Mr. Chair, actually asked a question about this, seems inconsistent with the current R3R zoning designation of the property, which is really to allow for increased building height as long as it provides additional units, three unit dwellings. It doesn't seem to me that this is the case for this present application. The applicant and his agent have made it clear that the increased building height is to provide for family rooms and extra living space. And so once the proposed dwellings the lot is severed and the proposed dwellings are constructed, there will be really only for 2 units per lot after severance. So it is unclear to me that the proposed variance is either minor, desirable, nor even consistent with the current zoning bylaw and its designation. I'd like also to express some concerns about some of the properties that are considered comparable to the proposed development in the application, because to me they are in very different contexts. We mentioned, or we just had a picture on the screen of 210, 212 Clare Street. These are the same R3R zone designation, but these are 3-unit dwellings. So they do meet the actual intent of the R3R designation and the increased building height requirements for that. This would not be the case with the current proposal. I think in the cover letter of the applicant, I've also read comparisons to 246 West Haven, and that is an entire different zoning designation. It's R4U. So not comparable here. The actual situations of 246 West Haven and 212 Clare is also very different, with different setbacks. And one of the property actually faces a linear park, so no other backyard. I think in terms of the consistency with the proposed addresses, I'm a bit concerned with some of the comparisons drawn with properties on Clare Street, because the proposed addresses will be on West Haven. West Haven is a local road. Clare is considered a collector road, And so that might seem benign, but in terms of the community feel and the character, this is very different. West Haven is a street with no sidewalks, reduced traffic, reduced speed, where kids learn to ride their bikes and improvise basketball games in the middle of the street. This is very different from Clare Street, just nearby. In terms of the setback and maintaining the character of the neighborhood, I think I am concerned with the reduced setback at the back and the reduced living green spaces. And again, some of the properties being used as comparison, like 558 Kirkwood, are irrelevant given the possible age of the properties and that some things might have been grandfathered over time. And also that Kirkwood Avenue is an arterial road, so totally different situation. Front patios are not very common in our area as well. As we speak of character, people have front balconies sometimes. I do have one on my property, but it's very rare to see that in the front or on the side. So the claims that the visual and privacy impacts on the public and neighborhood will be minimized don't seem to hold for me. And finally, I'd like to point to the lack of a visible sign in front of the property to notify the public of the ongoing application for variances and the current hearing. I didn't see it this morning when I walked by, and I also wasn't consulted at all. I'm, one of the properties directly adjacent to the subject dwellings. I was never consulted on this. I find it a little disappointing, given I've been living here for a long time and have always made effort to speak to my neighbors about such matters. Thank you very much. That will be all for me.
Thank you. Unfortunately, Mr. Lanny, there's no legislative requirement for the applicant to consult with you. We recommend that that does happen because a lot of issues can be resolved before they come to committee. Obviously, not in this case. As far as the sign is concerned, I'm assuming that the sign went up for the first application.
Through you, Mr. Chair, this is a recirculation. It was adjourned sine die, so a new sign was provided to be posted on April 25th.
Okay. You've heard one of the neighbors say the sign wasn't up, was it?
Pardon me?
Was the sign posted?
Yes.
Okay. Well, the applicant's agent says the sign went up. So anyway, and I'm assuming, sir, you saw the first sign, that you were aware of the application coming before us.
I did see the first. Sorry, Mr. Chair. Yeah, I did see it months ago, and that's how I became aware that an application was ongoing.
Okay. All right. Thank you for your comments. We also received letters from Mr. Tim Gray of the Westboro Community Association. I don't know if he's online to speak to this or not.
Sorry, Mr. Chair, if you don't mind, if I can just interject, I would like to hear from Mr. Sun, though, in terms of what consultation was undertaken.
Can't hear you, Ms. Trombley. What was that again?
I would like to hear from Mr. Sun what consultation was actually undertaken.
What?
What consultation should be under?
Yes, okay. So,
You mean the talk to the neighbor?
Just overall, what consultation did you undertake?
Yeah, what I did is just walking through neighborhood and see the building around, and I haven't had interaction with the neighbor yet. And property owner, he is here. Do you want to come? Yeah.
please have a seat, sir.
My name is Yung. I can. Hello, everybody, and cheers. And my name is Yung, and I've been in neighborhood for like more than 20 years, and because if we like we put it two times signs. We did on March and this time, and the neighbor is yeah, I didn't talk to neighbors. I hope they can come to me And because they can see the sign, and I didn't contact them at this space because because I don't know how to like I saw that I put sign and they can see it and they can talk to me. I have feel they said because the only feedback is they had because my building is a foundation is not good anymore, and is a good time to fix it. And I didn't hear any like negative things, and even neighbors they 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 talked like today they presented today is a new idea for me, and like like for the highs, like in my opinion, like this is the same building in the area for the several years. We are have high, low, and is a few like seems like for me not don't have any standard line like a standard line now. And for the highs, my architect's consideration is like this. For the neighbors, like my backyard neighbors, and we set up the like 5 meter for the whole back 5 meters, and usually they can more have the more visualize and cannot feel the more pleasure on the because if we walk out of sidewalks, they can see the building right away, and that's our consideration. And as current, because current building is almost touches the property line, and we did thinking of some like design not to affect the neighbors, and like build it build the like most reasonable for the community and for us too. And I willing to listen any like anything concerns. If we can fix, we can fix. And but we tried. I just want to tell you, we tried like more than years now. I feel a little bit it's okay, because not started yet. Because all for the like owner try to like build the house feels like difficult. I know. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just remind me I have to comment. At the regional hearing, I got email from the neighborhood association. I forgot the gentleman's name, so I respond him a couple times. So we had email communication at the regional hearing. So that's my action take, due diligence take. Yes, thank you.
Mr.
All right,
Alba?
well, thank you. I just wanted to respond to that. So thank you, Mr. Sun, and thank you to the owner. As the chair Blatherwick mentioned, it's not a requirement under the legislation to do pre-consultation. But, you know, you've got to keep in mind that the people who live next door and behind have sunk their life savings into their properties. So it tends to be a very sort of emotional issue when there's development that comes up around them. So it really comes down to just courtesy, and sometimes what we've seen as the committee is that when there's good consultation that happens, issues are resolved, and the matter comes before us. And for the committee, it's good to see that the concerns that were maybe raised by neighbors have actually been incorporated directly into the design, so that if there's a bit of give and take, we don't expect obviously that developers would necessarily do everything that's being asked of them, but it's a dialogue, and it's just helpful to the committee when we know that some of that has happened. So just wanted to put that out. While I've got the microphone, I'm going to just make one more comment to Mr. Sun as well. You do reference the new zoning bylaw an awful lot. Just bear in mind, we're not even at the point where it's gone as a draft to planning committee or to council. So there's essentially no basis for this committee to be able to to make a decision on, based on what the future condition could be, because we don't know that that's actually been, will be approved. We hope it will. It makes some sense, and, agree with you that that's the right course of action. So I'll tell you what, we've often had to other developers that use sort of this kind of rationale is, if in fact it's only 6 months away to have the zoning bylaw in place, then, would it make sense for you to wait 6 months? And if you were worried about not getting approval for your minor variances. So it's a strategy, right? It's which way are you going to go? Are you going to take a chance, or are you going to wait for the bylaw? But just be, as the chair has mentioned, be aware that this committee cannot take the new bylaw, particularly since it's not even been before the planning committee yet, or council in any formal way. So I just wanted to mention that it's we hear it all the time, and obviously we've been hearing it from a lot of applicants, but it just remains that it's not in full force and effect, and can't be considered by the committee at this time. So thanks, Mr. Chair, for leaving me some time to provide, I guess, my content.
That's fine, Mr. Trombi, not a problem at all. Ms. Lecquia, you had comments or questions?
Yeah, I had a question for the applicant based on the comments raised by the member of the public. I believe in your presentation, you mentioned about multi-generational housing, and that's what this project is intended to be. And I'm aware of different types of multi-generational housing. Is the one that you're creating going to be self-contained units, meaning that if that family member were to move out, this could be a rental unit that is self-contained on its own? Or is this more multi-generational housing with more shared accommodations?
It is more shared. Yeah,
Okay, thank
because
you.
the owner will be live in this property.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Thank you.
The committee notes that received 3 letters from 2 from individuals on the street and 1 from the Westbrook Community Association. One of your neighbors, Miss Lynn, was very concerned regarding snow storage on the site. Is there going to be adequate snow storage with this development in place? She's very concerned that the snow is going to end up on the street and then further impede vehicle movements in the wintertime.
Yeah, what do I understand? And I did bring the question to the owner, and he answered me, and he can reinforce. We will have the private snow management plan in place, and will be room in timely manner.
Okay. So the snow issue is going to be resolved. I'd suggest that you should probably get hold of Miss Lynn and let her know she's on the street. Another letter came in from another resident, Mr. Walker, who lives on West Haven Crescent, and he's very concerned with the height and the loss of sunlight, the overlooking issues. He says, and I'll quote, "Allowing a development of this proposed scale and massing would visually dominate adjacent homes, disrupt the continuity of existing streetscape, and set a precedent for all future developments to follow suit. This will cause a gradual erosion of the neighborhood's established character." How do you respond to him?
Yeah, if you recall at the beginning of my presentation, for the policy inner urban transit, it is normally allowed 3-story, even 4-story. And the Clare Street is one of the main street. And also this building, this roof part, it's way set back from the West Haven Crescent. And in terms of privacy, there's a many detail, like we can have the translucent film to like get the sunlight, but vision will be blocked. So that will be the detail, architectural detail. We can talk to neighbor, this particular neighbor, to address concern in terms of privacy overseeing.
Okay. And finally, letter from Mr. Gray of the Westboro Community Association. One of his comments, he was questioning how the single car driveway, the possibility of turning the single car driveway into front yard parking for extra vehicles.
We provide the one front garage and the front yard, the driveway in this property only 2.5 meter. Even not able to park the car. People are now, my understanding, not permitted to park the car in the streets, in the city property. So that won't be happen. Like the bylaw reinforcement, they can report. This is not the owner property, so there won't be front yard parking in the 2.5 meter front yard setback.
So as far as you're concerned, that's not an issue.
My understanding, yes.
Okay. The Community Association also had similar concerns with some of the other neighbors regarding the increase in height and mitigation measures to reduce the impact of the extra height on the community. And quite frankly, this comes back to you should have probably gone out and consulted with the neighbors in advance of coming before us. However, and the community association is also concerned regarding the number of front-facing garages on the street. However, I note that the planning department has no issue with that. So, let me think here. And they also raised the issue of railings on for the secondary units, but that's not really what's before us. So we won't be dealing with that. There will only be, what, 4 units in these in total? 2 primary units and 2 secondary units?
Correct, yeah.
Okay. Right. Okay. Is there anyone else in the room and or online who would like to speak to this? I've already discussed your points, Mr. Gray.
Yeah. I just want to say one thing, and that as Ms. Tremblay always talks about is, interaction with the neighbors.
Yeah.
And this is a classic textbook case of if they had have done some outreach to the neighbors, I think there could have been mitigation that could have happened, tree planting, all sorts of other things, because it's the height. And, as a community association, I was here today to hear what feedback was from the direct neighbors. And clearly there's some opposition to that. They are the ones that are affected the most. And the applicant should have, reached out. And I can tell you from experience that when that happens, many, many, many times there's deals that are reached, and it does not cost a lot of money to resolve some of those issues. It could just be a few extra trees that create a better privacy. And that just wasn't done here. So, we're gonna yield to the neighbors naturally, but I want to thank you for bringing up our points.
I didn't see you in the back room.
Oh, I try to stay in the shade there.
And I had my ice fixed last year.
No, thank you very much.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate it.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else either online or in the hall who would like to speak to the application? Okay. I'll give you a couple of minutes and a final recap. You've heard the comments from the neighbors. You've had a number of questions from us.
Yeah, I like to. Would you please bring back the slide number 11, please? So I like to use this as the background. The one have the current site plan and the new site plan showing a lot the green space. Please. Yeah.
Okay.
We thank you this opportunity for the comment from neighbor, and special thank you to the planner Penelope work with us and give a lot of the feedback, comment. So we are able to revise our plan, and thank you for the comment from the community member. So for this property, we do see we improve existing condition from no landscape to provide lot of landscape. And from the current subdivision showing this property already have 2 lots. So we just adjust the center line to meet the current building code.
Yeah.
And the minimum variance, the corner yard, we try our best. If further reduced, won't be able to make the floor plan happen. And front yard parking, it's permitted, and we try and no other way without front yard parking, garage. And also the way we eliminate illegal parking in this neighborhood. And from the photo I show here, 3-story building cross street, and at the corner, walk distance already exists. And similar, identical is semi-detached. So it is our understanding, and for the owner right, and for his public interest, we consider the best or better solution for this redevelopment in the inner urban transit, and make intensification and provide new housing option. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I think what the committee is going to do is we're going to reserve on this application and discuss the evidence we've heard today. And you'll have our decision in 10 days.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next application is item 3 on the agenda. 348 Olmstead Street, 220 Heritage Maple Way. And this is a permission application to permit a 2nd-story addition for the reconstruction of an existing 1-story dwelling to contain an additional dwelling unit, and minor additions for the reconstruction of an existing duplex, also to contain an additional dwelling unit. And I believe Ms. McQuaig is the agent for the applicant.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members of committee.
Ms. McQuaig, I don't think we need a presentation on this application. You're going from 2 to 6 units, correct?
So there's 2 buildings, but there are currently 4 units. So each building currently contains 2 units. So we're going from 4 to 6.
Okay. You're aware of the planning department's comments in their response on the final page. The new interlock area, I'm quoting, the new interlock area circled in green may not be supported by bylaw services because of the use and care of roads bylaw, as they are enforcing no walkways extending into the right of way.
I am aware of that comment, and I expect they will likely change that portion of the plan on the building permit submission.
Okay. The other thing I have to question you on is since this is an R4 zone application, I believe. And it's 6 units. So reading the bylaw, that to me that says that section 161.15E applies, which is talking about putting impediments to front yard parking in your front yards and side yards of these kinds of dwelling units.
So the existing parking situation will continue. So there is a current parking space for 338 Olmstead, which is kind of sandwiched between the 2 buildings. And there's an existing parking space sort of to the interior side yard area of 220 Heritage Maple Way. So there's currently no front yard parking situation. And what is currently a large amount of asphalt on the property is being converted to soft landscaping.
So in your opinion, this will prevent illegal front yard parking at these properties?
Yes, that is my opinion.
Okay.
And there are additionally three new trees being proposed as well.
Problem with trees is they're not exactly permanent structures when they die and get cut down. However, that's just a comment. Any questions from the members of the committee regarding this application? Is there anyone in the hall or anyone online who would like to speak to this application for 348 Olmstead, 220 Heritage Maple Way? Okay. Seeing none, you're aware of the committee's standard condition?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. You've dealt with bylaw services and the roads, and we dealt with the front. Yeah, and there's no complaints or concerns from the planning department. So with that, are we prepared to vote on this application? All in favor of the application for 348 Olmstead, 220 Heritage Maple Way, the permission? All right, Mr. McQuaig, your application is approved unanimously.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Have a great day.
You too. All right. Now, I move to item 4 on the agenda, which is 158 Deschamps Avenue, 200, 210, 212 Durocher Streets. This is to subdivide the property into 3 parcels to create separate ownership of existing buildings. So this was adjourned, and the agent is Mr. Leitman.
That's correct, Mitchell Leitman. And Mr. Russell, the president of the owner of the property, is here in attendance as well.
If you could just give us a very brief presentation.
Certainly. This application is to sever 3 historically separate properties that had merged by operation of Section 50 of the Planning Act, seeking to revert back to as close as possible to the original lot lines. There are some structures that are present that are to be removed, specifically garages that are shown in the reference plan, the draft reference plan that has been provided, which you'll see that is now up on display. The only real issue that has been presented to us from planning, dealing with Dylan Gildart from the planning department, it has to do with the proximity of the building structures, the primary structures, dwelling structures at 158 to the lot line, and then also on the property at 210 to 212 to the lot line to its north, fronting onto 200 Durocher. This would require some work to be done in order to address that, which is item number 1 in the conditions that the planning department had presented. The solution, particularly with respect to 158, Deschamps, is to erect a new wall that has better fire retardant qualities to satisfy the building code. And permits have already been applied for that.
Okay.
As for the property, 210 to 212 Durocher, that has the wall very close to the lot line to the north, that is a little more complicated in that it is can also be done by way of demolishing a wall and building a new wall that's more setback from the lot line, assuming the lot line setbacks are accepted. But this ties into condition 4 in the planning department's report, which has an either-or option for the consideration of the committee. One is the updated survey showing that all encroachments involving existing structures, because as I say, it is right up to the lot line, have been removed or resolved rather, or that approval be obtained from the committee to register any necessary easements for that. The solution that I only found out today, actually just prior to today's hearing, that had been contemplated by my client, is to submit a revised R plan, adjusting the lot line slightly by about 30 centimeters in order to ensure that there is no encroachment into the land to the north. That is not before you today, obviously. That our plan is something I only became aware of myself about an hour ago. And so what I propose, assuming the committee is disposed to agreeing to the requests put before it today, would be to give the consent for 158 Deschamps, and then allow an adjournment of the remaining application and consent to the additional issuance of the supplementary certificate to a later hearing date, so that the matter of the lot line between 210, 212, and 200 Durocher can be addressed either by way of a proposed easement or a fresh R plan addressing those parts that would be affected by this, because 158 Deschamps is not in any way impacted by the lot line and the structure on 210, 212 to 200 Durocher.
You're asking us to basically to sequence conditions.
The sequence that we sought. In fact, we sought first the severance of 158 Deschamps, and then of the remaining lands to sever 200 Durocher, which would result in the remaining lands 210, 212.
And we understand that there's been a number of discussions between yourself and the planning department regarding this app.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. I'd like to hear from the planning department regarding their support or lack of for sequencing conditions.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. At this time, I don't see the benefit of sequencing the approval for 158 only, because the way the condition is written is to be flexible in that they can be, if the application is successful, they would come through the planning department and submit a new 4R plan that shows those minor changes. And then those would be the plans that would be registered. And there would be no reason for them to have to come back to the committee. Option 4B, on the other hand, would formalize any encroachments that are on the property through easements, which, as we know, would require them to come back to the committee a second time later on. So I just, at this time, I don't see the benefit of only moving forward with 158 and not the severance as a whole.
Okay. Ms. Tremblay, you have a question or comment?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I'm not comfortable approving severances without actually seeing the plan in its final form. So, so for me, either we adjourn, wait for the revised plan to come in, and then see it as a whole, or we deal with the one property that's of particular concern now, withdraw the other two, and then see a reapplication on the other two. It's sort of kind of the way I see the best way to approach this, but to say that we're going to deal with all of them and then based on a revised plan that we will not get to see, I don't know if I'm comfortable with that. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Ms. Tremblay. Mr. Leitman?
Yes, while I appreciate that concern, all I could say to that is that we would not be creating different parts on the R plan reflecting 158 Deschamps. These new parts are only impacting the remnant land. And so the existing R plan could be used for the registration. We can deposit that R plan. It can be used for the severance of the 158 Deschamps parcel, and knowing that the sequencing could still occur because of the fact that we would have to have a fresh R plan anyway, and so they would never be, in fact, registered. Well, they would be registered, but they would be no longer relevant to the parcels because they would not be creating parts that would be consented to in a transfer for the Durocher properties.
Mr. Chair, I think I'd like to hear from committee staff on this. to see how comfortable they are with approaching. I just want to make sure we're not creating a problem for committee staff in this regard.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair. A revised plan would be problematic. The committee has a standard condition saying that the final R plan must match the draft R plan exactly as per the decision. If there is going to be a change to the plan, an adjournment would be the best scenario. And we can be flexible on that date depending on how long it would take the applicant to get that prepared. But looking at it as a package would be the best way forward rather than piecemealing it.
May I confer with my client just for a moment?
Right ahead.
My client's inclination would be to follow the staff recommendation. The draft plan is actually already prepared. As I said, I just saw it today. And so we could adjourn to a fixed date and have the revised reference plan circulated for comment with planning and, hopefully address these conditions to everyone's satisfaction.
For you, Mr. Chair, the next hearing date is June 4th, followed by June 18th.
And you can be ready for the 4th of June.
Through you, Mr. Chair, if I might, what's the agenda look like for June 4th at this point?
There are 7 agenda items.
And for the next meeting?
We're still building the June 18th agenda. It's at 4 or 5 items.
It's up to you, Mr. Chair.
That's adequate time, Madam Secretary Treasurer, if we go to the 4th of June.
It is adequate time. We would need the plan as soon as possible, and we would need an amended cover letter explaining the new frontages, areas, and depths for each parcel.
Understood.
Agreed?
Agreed.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, so I think we're in agreement. Planning department's all right with this? Yeah?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we shall adjourn this to the 4th of June. All in favor of adjournment until June 4th? All right, we're adjourned until the 4th of June. Thank you very much, sir. And with that application, that is the end of the of our agenda, and we are reserved.